Hey guys, Voltara Dragon is here, and I am going to finally make a real attempt at a Let's Play. I've wanted to do a Let's Play ever since I was a little kid and first found out what they were. And this game, I've wanted to Let's Play this game in particular since I was just that young. And you can tell by my recent video that I am in love with this series, I'm in love with this game in particular, and I've wanted to Let's Play it for ages, because it is also the game, one of the games that's easiest for me to record right now, as well as it's also the game I have the most knowledge of next to my Pokemon games, and even then there's still often a lot of stuff I don't know. This game is also not very long, either. So it's a great first game to Let's Play in my opinion, but not so if you ask Random Game Critic, because oh boy, he had one whale of a time trying to Let's Play this game with his friend. Now, I'm going to be doing this in single player. I'm going to have the subtitles on, and I'm going to have the tutorial on. Now, I'm going to explain the tutorial, but I'm going to have it turned on anyway, because then there'll be like an on-screen example of what I'm going to tell you, which I always found easier to understand. And I'm sure people are going to ask, why am I Let's Playing the third game in a trilogy instead of the first one? Simply put, going back to an earlier point, this is the easiest game of the series for me to record right now, because I have the 360 that I'm running this on in my bedroom, whereas the system I would have to play A New Beginning and Eternal Night on is out in my living room, because I would have to play them on my Wii. And for those of you wondering if I am going to Let's Play those games eventually, A New Beginning possibly, Eternal Night probably not, because the console version hates me. So, I'm gonna get into the game. I probably will not talk too much during the cutscenes, because I've seen a lot of people usually prefer if people don't. But if there's like something I feel like I should bring up in a cutscene, I will.
Even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. But sometimes fear clouds our vision. Sometimes our strength gives out. And yet sometimes when all seems lost, a light shines through the darkness. And we are reminded that even the smallest amount of courage can turn the tides of war.
I also feel this would be an appropriate time to talk since there's no actual dialogue that's being spoken. But, yeah, going back to what I was saying, I've tried playing through Eternal Night, and while it's probably easier when you're playing it on a PlayStation, I don't own a PlayStation, and the Wii version sucks. Then again, the Wii version of pretty much every game that wasn't built for it sucks. I mean, for God's sake, I have the Wii version of this game, and it's god-awful. Oy. But, yeah, if I was gonna Let's Play all three games, I would do a New Beginning for the GameCube, because that's the copy I have. But for Eternal Night, I would probably do either the DS or GBA version, if that was ever possible, because I'm sorry, the console version, I can't. I've tried and tried and tried and tried. I just can't. I also love how if you don't have subtitles on, you'll have no clue what these gremlins are saying.
I can't. Get close to me, now!
I also love... Cinder's eyes were open. Did anyone else see that? Go back in the video to when it was panning out like that. Her eyes were open. I swear to God, I'm gonna like go back and show, and like in editing, I'm gonna screenshot that and post it right here if that's truly what, and I wasn't just seeing things. But I swear to God, her eyes were open. Also, I guess I should also explain a bit. I I'm gonna try and do 1 chapter per episode, unless the chapter is particularly long.
Spyro. Spyro, open your eyes. Get up.
Cinder, what happened? Where are we?
I don't know. It's all a blur.
Yeah,
So,
me
I
too.
never got this cutscene. Are they saying that they don't remember the events of Eternal Night?
I hear it too.
Because that's kind of what it implies.
Sparks, is that you?
For once, I wish it was. What are they doing?
Let's not stick around to find out. Come on.
Oh, what is your problem? Oh, this can't be good.
Okay. Getting into the gameplay. Basic moves. You press A to jump, X is your light attack, and Y is your strong attack. You can hold Y to knock enemies into the air. The purpose of this, I'll show in just a few minutes when we get the tutorial on that. But yeah, you basically you can chain your attacks together for combos. Usually when I am just using melee attacks, I resort to like an XXYY combo because that's usually what tends to help the most, especially if you're playing as Spyro. You can jump. Here's another mechanic. Press left bumper to block. Obviously, if you're playing on a different console, this will be different. I think for the Wii version, you actually, like, physically move the nunchuck up using motion controls, and it's just as painful as it sounds. And then while blocking, you can move left stick in any direction to evade. This is the block, and then you press left bumper, and then move around, and you can, like, barrel roll out of the way. It's very helpful. I use it all the time. More gremlins are gonna come down. I'm gonna try and learn the names of all these enemies, because to this day, I still don't really know them. Okay, B is you grab an enemy, and then you can press X or Y or jump, and basically combo it together to do a combo move. If you jump in the air and press Y repeatedly, it's this move, which I think is called Dance of the Dragon or something like that. If you jump and then mash X, you do this. I don't remember what that move is called. We'll find out in a minute. If you don't jump and mash X repeatedly, it does this. And then if you mash Y, you do this. Now these moves vary slightly between Spyro and Cinder, which I will also show eventually. And this is gonna be a recurring theme, isn't it? I'm just gonna keep getting interrupted by the game. I'll explain all this stuff later. Okay.
We have to break this thing. It's holding us down.
Now, if you can fail this and it will result in your death. Any QuickTime events that can be failed, I'll probably have at the end of the video, because I know people are going to want to see them. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're already on YouTube, but I want to show everything I can. Now it's going to tell you, hit the golem's hand. Now, I'm trying to, like, multitask here. You hit it and gems come out. I'll explain these two. If you want to avoid all of his attacks, pretty much, just stand here. He's literally just gonna punch 3 times in those specific areas and then put his hand down for some reason. And then once again, you can just stand here. As a tip, when he does that sweeping attack, which can hit you if you're sitting here, you can just barrel roll with the right timing and you'll usually avoid it.
This chain is slowing us down. We can't fight it. We'll have to move in unison. Follow my lead.
Why should you leave?
Uh-oh. Take cover.
Okay, good idea. You lead.
It's good to see you too. You okay?
You know, little stiff. Voice keeps changing. I'm good.
Hmm.
Hey, this reunion is really touching and everything, but shouldn't we be going? Unless you want to wait. for
Cinder's
us.
wing blade just clipped into her horn there.
What it might be to Sparks.
Who is he? I don't know. All he said was, "Shh, you're making too much noise."
I like him already.
And you can press A twice to double jump. Okay, so that's the wrong button. You have a move screen, but I'm not gonna go over that right now because we don't basically once we get all the main tutorial stuff out of the way, I can explain the combos in more detail. But so yeah, you just climb up here and not fall off the cliff. But joystick. By the way, my joysticks are probably gonna screw with me because my controllers are very old. So yeah, if Spyro and Cinder randomly run off cliffs, it's not my fault.
Shaken a little, but not too badly. Thanks to you.
I am relieved. I had feared I might be
Hunter
too
is
late.
such a badass.
My name is Hunter.
Hunter, you've been tracking me.
For far too long, friend. When you didn't return to the temple.
If you haven't seen Eternal Night, you're not gonna have a single clue what Spyro's talking about.
That was nearly 3 years ago.
What? 3 years? But that's impossible.
Yes.
I'm so tempted to make a
this
joke with
news
that.
comes as quite a shock. Forgive me for the brevity of my explanation, but this is not the place to account for missing time. We are not safe here. Follow me.
Epic music. Now, something I want to bring up. I don't have footage of this, but believe me, I'm going to get it at some point. Oh, okay, let me explain this first. Sorry, I'm interrupting my own train of thought. Yeah, you can switch between Spyro and Cinder. If you're in 2-player mode, then player 1 defaults to Spyro and player 2 defaults to Cinder, and you can't switch in 2-player mode. But yeah, in 1-player mode you can switch between the dragons at any time. Now, what I was talking about the glitch, that cutscene you just saw, one time I managed to barrel roll past him into the door, and it caused some glitchy stuff to occur, and it actually skipped the cutscene and basically dropped me right here. I want to get footage of this, but I don't know, I'll try to get it at some point. But you can break the pots, get some experience points for something you'll see in a bit. I always break the pots because Zelda influence, I don't know, I don't really have an excuse. It's just something I do. You'll probably see me playing as Cinder a lot, simply because I prefer her playstyle over Spyro's, especially since early in the game he is so slow. Yeah, red gems restore your health. You saw some of them when I was beating the crap out of that golem's hand.
This way. Follow me.
You break them like this, and then the shards will go into whatever dragon you're playing as, and it will restore their health. And they also regrow. I didn't mention that. They do regrow eventually. Although some crystals I found in the game just don't for some reason.
It's getting closer.
It's getting closer. Sorry, cracking my fingers here. I love how whenever Hunter moves in-game, he, like, spazzes.
You go first, Cinder. It's safer. For me. Safer for me, I mean.
Quiet. You'll give us away.
I love how emotionless Cinder talks in this game. But, yeah. Basically, QuickTime events that can be failed, I'll probably have at the end of the video. Or in a bonus video. I'm still trying to, like, think of how I want to structure these. I guess that can be up to you guys. Would you prefer if I put QuickTime event fails at the end of the video, or would you prefer I save that for a bonus video? And what was it? Oh, right. And then in terms of glitches, I can't show them all because unfortunately one of the coolest ones requires you to have 2 players. And considering we're in the middle of quarantine, I can't have a friend over to help me record that. But I intend on showing as many glitches as I can throughout the playthrough, and then like I said, any glitches that I can't really do in the main story, I'm going to What the heck are you doing? My dog is distracting me. She's literally licking a pillow. I have like this Peep bunny pillow and she's licking it. But anyway, yeah, you can hold A in the air to glide. You saw me doing it earlier when I tried to make it to that platform. And then here's the thing that makes Dawn of the Dragon so much more fun to play. You can fly in this game, thank God. You can also, let me clarify here. If you're flying, hold A and you'll go into a glide, and then if you let go of the A button after that, you'll basically just drop to the ground. It's one of the most effective ways to land, but there are multiple ways you can do it. Now, one of the funniest things, let me see if I can do it. Yeah, Cinder can bounce for some reason. Like, seriously, if you're flying, you have to be doing it for a few seconds and sometimes even move around a bit. And it doesn't work every time. But if you hold down Y, she'll bounce into the air for some reason. And no, Spyro actually will not do this. Example. And then to show a true attempt here. Spyro will not bounce, but Cinder will, and I don't know why. I seriously want to know why she does this freaking epic leap into the air, and you can actually, like, abuse this later in the game, because there are platforms that are hard to get to because of the game's physics, and you can just Cinder bounce up there. But anyway. Not getting distracted by both the bouncing and my dog, who is also named Cinder. Yeah, I know. I'm nerdy. And yes, I named her after this character, but there's gonna be a quick time event right here, and it's always the A button. Or whatever button corresponds to on whatever console you're playing. I'm pretty sure on the Wii it's the A button too. And there are save points. I usually don't use these, but because I'm doing a Let's Play, I am. Just in case something happens. And I love this, watch. They're trying to get in place for a cutscene.
Give us a moment to gather.
Believe me, I have seen some really funny things that when they're trying to get into position. I've literally had them hang in the air for ages.
From these crystals. Dragons are truly remarkable.
Ah, this
Yeah,
game.
you say that now, till one tries to kill you. And by one, I mean her.
I am aware of Cinder's
That line always makes me laugh.
but Ignitus trusts her. And that's good enough for me.
Her expression is amazing.
Go on.
What does she think's gonna happen here? Like, Spyro doesn't explain anything, and it's never explained why this happens.
As a rare purple dragon, you can wield many abilities that others cannot. Now it is time to awaken these powers within you. Fire, electricity,
And he couldn't do this in Eternal Night. Why?
and earth. Cinder. While most other dragons can master only a single element, your exposure to the darkness has gifted you with abilities most uncommon. Poison, fear, wind, and shadow.
Now, I wish to bring something up about Cinder's elements. Something I mentioned in my unused content video was that I wasn't going to mention interviews because I questioned, like, how canon they were, or how they're... I don't really know how they're considered in the Spyro fanbase. One of them is that Cinder was a wind dragon before she was corrupted. Now, I do not believe this, because in A New Beginning, when we see her egg, it's black. So I think she was intended to be a black dragon since the beginning. But interviews with some people who were involved with this game's production have said that they like to imagine Cinder was a wind dragoness before she was corrupted. And I do like this idea, and a lot of people have drawn artwork of this and whatnot. But personally, I honestly think Cinder was meant to be a black dragon from the start, and she was never a wind dragon. I mean, hell, I've even seen people hypothesize that if she hadn't been corrupted, she would have looked like Ember. Which, I've seen fan art of this idea, and I really like it, but anyway. Right trigger is your elemental attack. Spyro and Cinder can use various elements, as you saw, and another reason why I brought up Cinders is that the fan base has done a lot of... What's the word I'm looking for? Not that. Yeah, you can use the D-pad to switch elements, like this. Each arrow on the D-pad corresponds to another element. I'll explain that in a minute after I beat the crap out of these guys. But there have been many people in the Spyro fandom who have tried to explain Cinder's elements and why she has them, because we know full well why Spyro has his, but it's never truly explained why Cinder has hers. And sure, I know the chronicler just said because of her exposure to the darkness, but honestly, a lot of people don't really accept that as a real explanation or a good enough one. I think, I was wondering how long he was going to be stuck like that. Y'all are going to get sick of me saying because I always say that when I'm trying to regain my train of thought. But my favorite idea actually comes from Seraphine on DeviantArt. In her comic, she mentions that Cinder's element was Shadow, and that's the native element of black dragons. And keep in mind, we actually never find out what a black dragon has as their... if they even have just one element, or black dragons usually have more than one element. I don't think so, because of the way it's phrased when talking to Cinder. But Seraphine's comic explains it by saying that 3 of her elements were given to her by her character Zira. Poison, wind, and fear. And I thought that was an interesting idea because it would actually make sense. But like I said, it's obviously not canon and not true. But I just honestly think the fans have come up with better explanations than anyone who worked on this game has. Blue Spirit Gems. They increase your experience and can be used to unlock new abilities. Now, speaking of that, now that I'm done talking about fan theories, this is the Elements menu. And this is where you upgrade your elements. Because in previous games, you only did it with Spyro, and if you want to switch to Spyro, you just press left trigger. In 2-player mode, this is a pain in the ass, because if you want to switch between each other, player 1 or player 2 has to do it, and it's very annoying because you have to tell them every single time to switch to you. But here you can see that they have a secondary attack, like Spyro did in Eternal Night. In fact, if you see here, the Comet Dash is also available here, because believe me, in Eternal Night, for the few moments I was able to play that game, I spammed the hell out of this, because it was the only effective way to kill stuff. But that's mainly that, and now that we have the flying mechanic down, this is the moves menu. Now, I usually don't use this. I just press buttons however I feel like it. But, I'm trying to see, where's the thing I was looking for? That never gets old. Just pressing the A button is called Running Jump of the Dragon. That really needs such an epic name. Dragon Scratch, Iron Scale. Now this I never got, considering Iron Scale? You block it with your wings. Yeah, Dragon Dance. That was the name of the move. Is there not a... Oh, here it is. Dragon Burst. Hit your enemy several times in the air before throwing him to the ground. I was just saying, does that move not have a name? Now, this is everyone's most hated mechanic in this game, the Adamantine Orbs. They limit your ability to fly, and they basically break your jumping controls. It is a pain in the ass, and believe me, when I first played this game, I hated these things. I'm much more used to them now, and great, I can't even grab a lever. But there's also this trick, and if you're playing in 2-player mode, you can actually have the second dragon with the orb in their mouth standing up there, and it's a nice little shortcut. But yeah, you can see right here, it's like painful to watch. It's just as hard to control as it looks. And believe me, I would not be surprised if even after all this time I still fall off. There we go. I was trying to trigger this. You'll see these a few times in the game where you'll have to use your elements on something to continue. They use this more in the DS version of Dawn of the Dragon, where they have actual elemental gates. And honestly, I kind of like those, but, oh jeez. The DS version I'm so conflicted about, because I like it, but it's such a sad representation of this game. Because you can't fly in that game, and that's like the biggest thing they were using to advertise this. So it's like, what's the point? But yeah, I made that look very easy. In fact, I'm gonna make this whole game look way too freaking easy. Because I've played this game just so much.
We must be getting close. Here, this way. This leads to the surface.
But yeah, I know people are gonna be go in the comments and be like, how are you doing this so well? And I'm like, because I've literally played this game for so many years that nothing in this game is hard anymore. The only times I usually die in a playthrough is if I have bad luck with an elite enemy, and we'll get into those in a bit. But yeah, the first red life crystal is up here. You have to fly into the camera. They upgrade your life. Blah, blah, blah. Now, something that I also love, especially after playing Reignited, is that you can't fall off cliffs and die in this game. If you do, you're automatically put into flying mode, and you can't. Now, you can still fall through floors, and believe me, we'll get into that too. But, yeah, example. Yeah, you can't die in this game by falling off cliffs. And I appreciate that, because like I said, after playing the Reignited trilogy, I got really sick of that. Especially in treetops. Oh my god. This is the same thing as the red one, just increases magic instead of health. Like I said, I'm gonna do, this is a 100% playthrough of the game, so I'm gonna find everything. You saw me open this earlier, but if you press the back button for the 360 version, you can access these menus. This is, man, I am having a terrible time wording things today. This basically shows you all the bonuses in the level, and when you obtain all of something, it'll be grayed out, and if you don't have something, you can see it still has color. And this is helpful because it's like a checklist. Unfortunately, back when I first played this game, I would always miss like 1 or 2 spirit gems no matter what I did, but like I said, I know where they all are now. And I make a habit of checking this at the end of every level to make sure I got everything. An example of me using the bounce to my advantage. Okay, so Cinder has enough to upgrade something. I will get into that in a moment. Okay, so if you are doing what I'm doing, if you've been like hitting pots and stuff and playing as Cinder, which I actually recommend until you finish the next level, you want to upgrade Shadow first. Just trust me. There'll be a reason for this, and you'll see it in a bit, but trust me, you want to play as Cinder through this level, and you want to upgrade Shadow first. That gives you access to her Shadow Fire, which honestly I never really use that much unless I'm just screwing around. Because it's, especially until you upgrade Shadow all the way, it's just such a slow attack and it doesn't really do much. I tend to find Cinder's elements overall though more helpful than Spyro's, but I guess that's more or less up to preference. I'm not going to tell you guys how to play the game, but I will recommend what I think helps the most when playing through it. Now, believe me, I've had so many people have issues with this. The climbing zones are so hard to learn, and there have been times where, like I said, once again blaming my controller, but I swear to God that it was my controller. There are times where I will do that, which, by the way, if you want to go up the vines quickly, you just have to hold up. Whoa, what the heck? Controls? You just have to hold up and then press A repeatedly. And then if you want to grab onto the wall again, just press B. Whoa, what the crap? That's what I mean! The controls in this game, no matter how good you are at them, still are a pain in the ass. And for reference, that speed boost thing I'm doing, if you fly and then press A repeatedly, pretty quickly... Ah! Really? When I said this game is just gonna keep interrupting me, I meant it. Okay, yeah, if you press A repeatedly, it does that speed boost just... okay. Oh god, this whole Let's Play is just gonna be filled with this, isn't it? Now, something hilarious that you can do in this area. Normally, if you do this on the end of a vine wall, she'll fall down, but for some reason on this wall, she can just do this repeatedly, and yes, you can do this with Spyro, too. Yeah, this game is very buggy, and I will not, like, try to say it isn't, because it is. This game is incredibly buggy, the controls and camera are not very good. In single player, the camera is usually pretty okay, but the second that... oh, hi. If you... yeah, in two-player mode, the camera is shit. Trust me, I've tried. It's so bad in two-player mode. Doing a great job at that, Hunter. But yeah, if you want to switch climbing zones, you can jump from the wall and then basically do what I did. Oh, that's a great close-up of his arm. Hello. Okay, now, you don't want to go forward, you want to go over here. I missed this so many times, and it's funny because in the cutscene coming up in a minute, they show the spirit gem back here. Ow! Whoa. That was cool. I've never been able to do that before. Usually when I try to rush through that, I basically just fall all the way down, but nope, I managed to glitch through his arm. That was pretty cool. Man, that's gotta hurt.
What is that? I've never seen one like that before.
Spyro, be careful.
That crystal radiates with dark magic. Destroy it quickly.
Love how these are never explained either. Okay, now I'm gonna go back down here. After he comes, he breaks away the two sections of rock that are blocking these gems, and I didn't show it, but if you try to come down and get them while he's still here, I think he'll breathe fire and blow you away so you aren't able to get them. Now, coming up, this is the reason I recommended you upgrade Shadow. Speaking of elite enemies, look for special elite enemies hidden throughout the game. Elite enemies are stronger than normal enemies, that's very redundant, but reward you more experience points. If you want 100%, you have to fight these guys.
Alright, here we go.
Now, each of them has a helmet that is color-coded with a specific element. If you try to attack them with the helmet still on, with anything but that element, it will not work. They will be immune. Now, for some reason, with these first two elite enemies, because, spoiler, there is one in the next chapter, for some reason, Cinder's attack just freaking destroys them. Like, this attack that I'm doing right here, it's like instant win, pretty much. Because if you do the same thing with Spyro, it does next to nothing. It's so weird. This game has so many, like, little bugs in it that I don't understand. And that is one of them. Because, like, so the elite enemy in the next chapter is the same way, even though, again, spoiler, its helmet is one of Spyro's elements. So, like, you'd think I don't know, oh, hello. Jeez. Like I said, friggin' controls. Another spirit gem is up here. along with another save point. Sup, Hunter. Another weird bug is that for some reason, whenever I come down here, if I'm in two-player mode with someone else, it will focus on one of us randomly, and it's really annoying, because then the other one can't see what they're doing. I'm just imagining how many people I'm gonna annoy with my commentary. Or if you can even call it that.
We are close to the surface. It's best we remain unheard.
Alright, big shit, man. I get the message. Sheesh.
The horn. It must be part of some sort of locking mechanism.
Honestly, why not just a lock and key like normal folks?
Now, that previous dialogue that Hunter was saying before I came down the stairs, you can actually cut him off if you're fast enough, and it's not that hard. I love how Hunter immediately, like, gets the fuck out of Dodge, like... What the heck? That didn't work. How are you not dead? Come here. Rawr. Ow! Jerk. Come here, I'm gonna kill you and your family. This attack is so brutal, but it's so much fun to just repeatedly whack him on the ground. Excuse me, Jackwagon. You dare smack me? Terror of the skies, I will eat your damn head. Come here. Rawr, let me eat your head. But yeah, kind of stating what I was talking about earlier, I'm gonna make this game look way too easy.
Spyro, hurry up and open this door.
I love how they keep trying to come up with some kind of way to use elements. Though I do think this is kind of a cute idea.
This way, quickly.
Spyro's like, dude. I freaking love this bit. Cinder's like spazzing out.
What was that?
There'll be time for that. We'll follow the river. It will lead us to shelter where we can rest. And then we're off to Warfang, the Dragon City, where Ignitus will be expecting us.
And that is all she wrote for Chapter 1, The Catacombs. Okay. Let's see how well this comes out, and if all goes well, I'm kind of excited to see this finished, I won't lie, because I would really like to be able to finish a Let's Play for once that doesn't look like crap. So, see you guys later.